Welcome back, everyone. Pal Ponder on Weather here. In this update, we're going to be going over the weather setups over the next 7 days. First, with the storm system that's coming in this weekend, and then a much more potent system that will come through early next week, along with the solar eclipse that will be coming up on Monday. So, for today on your Friday, let's talk about the setups right now. We've got that trough that we've been dealing with up there into the east. That's brought all the colder conditions and, in fact, some snow into the Great Lakes, even to the Chicago region. And it's actually still snowing in some of these areas into New England. But you can see what's happened in the middle of the country. There is that ridge of high pressure. That's heat. A lot of warm conditions are building across the middle of the country while we're waiting for yet another trough that's going to be impacting those areas across the west. That's bringing those cooler anomalies as well as instability and more rain showers for those areas into the West Coast. So I appreciate all my subscribers out there. If you are new to the channel and like detailed weather breakdowns, hit the subscribe button and you're in. You get all my daily content on this channel. And I would love to reach 250,000 subscribers by the end of the April, and you can help me get there by subscribing to the channel and following all my daily breakdowns. So let's talk about the setup as we head into tomorrow. We're still dealing with that trough out to the east, off into the east. We can see the cooler anomalies really highlighted across that region with those 10 to 15 degrees below average temperatures. And yeah, you can see where the ridge is across the middle of the country, 10 to 15 degrees above average, and heat fuel storms. And that's where most of the instability will be going over the next 5 days. It's all complements of this first system that's highlighted across the west. That's bringing some rain showers today, and then that's moving across with those lower temperatures as we head into tomorrow as well. But right now, we're watching this significant trough that will be coming in across the middle of the country. And you can actually see it. It does go, in fact, negatively tilted. But we do have some limited moisture supply because this trough that's still hanging in off the East Coast, that's actually limiting the return of the Gulf of Mexico. In fact, it's bringing in some northwest flow, and that typically kind of shuts off the Gulf of Mexico. We are going to have a low pressure center that will be forming up there into Colorado as well as into Nebraska. And it's really right around where that low is. That's likely going to be the most favorite area where we should see the stronger to severe thunderstorms. You can see by the time we head into your Saturday afternoon, that low pressure center will really start to deepen and set up shop across northeastern portions of Nebraska. These elevated red shaded areas, that is the more abundant amount of precipitation that's going to feed right around where that low pressure is. That's likely where we're going to be seeing the strong to severe thunderstorms. Further south, very limited coming on off the Gulf. So these rain showers, the further south you go, are basically going to be evaporated in the drier air. But further north, we do have that severe storm risk going into your Saturday afternoon. The Storm Prediction Center does in fact have that highlighted slight risk for those areas in the middle portions of Nebraska, back into areas into Kansas here, and as far south as the Wichita region. You go further south into Tulsa, back into Oklahoma City. Yes, with the more limited moisture supply, these thunderstorms should start to fade. So if you are going to see an isolated tornado, it's likely going to be closer to where that low pressure center is. So I can't rule out a low spin up tornado heading into Saturday afternoon, especially for some of these areas into Nebraska. So definitely be on the lookout for that. But it's mainly going to be a gusty wind threat with this particular storm system. But you can see where the low pressure is. It's a 986. So luckily, we don't have the Gulf of Mexico returning, because this could be a little bit more significant severe weather threat than what we're going to be getting from this particular system. But nonetheless, we could be seeing those rain showers and elevated storms heading into Saturday afternoon, especially across Nebraska there in the central region, as well as into central and eastern portions of Kansas, and then lighter amounts as you head into Oklahoma, and then basically next to nothing as you get into Texas. And it's all complements of this low pressure center that will continue to wind itself up into Nebraska, eventually feeding over into those areas into Iowa. But you can see on the southern flank as that trough pretty much goes positively tilted there, again, kind of shuts off the Gulf of Mexico. So it's very limited with this first particular setup, but this one is down to a 986 millibar low pressure. And one thing's for certain, it's going to bring an abundance amount of winds for a good part of the middle part of the country. So as this storm system will be coming in, these winds are going to be cranking up there into New Mexico, much of Colorado, especially in the higher elevations, and feeding into the Nebraska, where especially where that low pressure is, and even further south into Kansas, into western Oklahoma, into the Panhandle, West Texas. They do have a fire risk, an extended fire risk for multiple days, starting today, tomorrow, and even into Sunday, with this volatile system that will be moving across the central part of the U.S. So do in fact expect a lot of heavy winds. In fact, some of these areas in the mountain regions, the latest high resolution guidance is actually maxing out at potentially 100 miles an hour, folks. This is going to be a potent system. Now, most of these wind gusts are going to be in the approach of the 50 to 60 mile per hour range. But yeah, definitely not out of the question to see some of those 80 and 90 mile per hour gusts. But going into your Sunday afternoon, you can see the fishtail, kind of the arcing feature of this squall line, if you will. It's mainly a gusty wind threat, essentially, as this low pressure will wind itself down but traverse across Iowa there, feeding into Wisconsin, into Illinois, and then this skinny little squall line coming down all the way through Louisiana with just some, elevated showers, but nothing terribly to be concerned about, mainly a gustier wind threat with that first initial setup. But where I'm concerned and where the setup is going to be as we get into your solar eclipse time frame, I paused it right here. This is Monday afternoon around 1 o'clock, so you can actually see where these ridging is going to be taking place. So the ridge is mainly going to be highlighted across areas into these areas, into the Ohio Valley and much of New England. This is probably the best opportunities with clearer skies. In fact, some of those areas that brought all the heavier snows into New England are going to have the best opportunities to see full totality with clearer skies up in this region. But we do have another significant and more potent complex that will be coming in off the West Coast. And as it does, it's going to bring in southwest winds. So southwest winds typically bring in high level clouds in the state of Texas. And then with the warm front that's going to be lifting northward, those elevated dew points are going to be surging as we get deeper into the day. And you can see the flow off the southwest flow. That's going to be increasing the moisture levels into the upper atmosphere, going to be producing those high clouds to start off the day, and likely bring in some low level clouds, especially further south into Texas. And ironically, the best viewing areas into South Texas are likely going to be seeing the most cloud cover. But you can see on the satellite picture as we swing through Oklahoma and Arkansas, but especially as you get towards and closer to that ridge, right? You have a little bit more clearing, and especially as you head into those areas into New England. So as of right now, here's the breakdown on the blend of the percentage of cloud cover as we get to totality time, which is right around 1 o'clock. So further south, you can see about an 83% chance you're likely going to be cloudy, with the most totality time of 4 minutes and 26 seconds down there. Unfortunately, as it comes across Dallas, about a 70% probability you're going to see cloud cover during peak totality time. And then as this moves through Arkansas, you can see as we get closer to that ridge, the cloud cover starts to lessen, 47%. We get to Indiana, it's like 21%. We get further up north into New England, especially those areas in Vermont, New Hampshire, and likely the best opportunities will be in the state of Maine there, where you likely have a 0% probability of no cloud cover and full sunshine. So you're likely going to have the best viewing. So I'll be updating this pretty much on a daily basis as we get closer, because obviously this is a big event that you guys been waiting for an extended period of time. But the problem is, after the eclipse is over, folks, yeah, we've got a significant system coming in. We are going to have a warm front, right? So this got the southwest winds, you got the storm system coming in off the west. and you got the warm front lifting north. So as it does, it's going to be stalling somewhere in the vicinity around the Red River region. That, with the placement of that warm front, is going to be susceptible. And on top, the moisture supply is really going to be abundant. So for the first system, it doesn't really mess up the atmosphere down there in the south, right? So everything's pretty much congested over into the plains. So by the time that second system comes in, the Gulf of Mexico is going to be open for business, allowing that south surge, those higher dew points to surge northward. And you can see these elevated PWatt values, which is your percentage of available rain, the water content in the atmosphere. Now, for the first week of April, heading into that second week of April, 1.9 is definitely high. So that 1.9, that tells you the atmosphere is capable of producing almost 2-inch per hour rainfall rates. So you got plenty of moisture as this warm front stalls to the north. So underneath, that creates a lot of low-level winds, would support rotating supercell thunderstorms, and all three modes of severe storms likely will unfold after the 4 o'clock time frame, but especially as you get towards 7 into the evening time frame. All three modes are definitely on the table for the Dallas-Fort Worth area, back into Fort Worth, back into the Abilene region, into the Austin region, into Waco, back into Lufkin. These areas highlighted across Northeast Texas going into Monday night. And then going into Tuesday, we have the storm system, because we have a first system that's just going to be mainly a shortwave that will create the instability along with the warm front. But the main system is going to be still out west, highlighted over New Mexico. That puts the placement again in a lot of the same areas that's going to have the additional instability on Monday. So we have an additional setup on Tuesday, and this could be even more potent than what we're going to be seeing on Monday. So those same areas highlighted across Fort Worth, into the Dallas-Fort Worth area, Waco, Austin, could extend into portions of Houston, the Houston Metroplex by then, back into East Texas, again, with all three modes of severe storms. And that's very concerning. If you look at the lightning index, the flash index right now over a 6-hour time frame, heading into that Monday night and Tuesday, wow, look at that. Look at that white showing up. That's pretty much off the chart, folks. That's 2,918 strikes within a 6-hour period. You know that's going to be some potent systems coming across Texas into central Texas and some parts of East Texas, and then a stronger system that will come through on Tuesday night. And there, look at that, folks, 4,000. That is going to be in a significant system. There's some guidance even showing a pretty significant MCS forming. Could have some bow echoes, could have some intense 75-mile-per-hour winds, large hail capable with this particular setup, and yes, tornadic activity would unfold possibly into Monday, Tuesday, and actually could even extend into Wednesday. And with that front just kind of sitting there and stalling, and that very slow-moving system, yes, flash flooding is also going to be a concern. North Texas into Oklahoma, but especially as you head into north and central eastern portions of Texas, into Arkansas, where you do have that slight risk. Some areas could easily pick up 5 inches of rainfall from Monday through Wednesday, even isolated amounts even higher. And look at that, folks, even on Wednesday. I mean, this system does not go anywhere anytime soon. So what we're looking at right now is Monday afternoon to Wednesday, this whole area across the south is going to be inundated with rounds of severe storms with all three modes, and then eventually transferring into a flash flooding event. With flash flooding is going to be concerned. There are likely going to be flood watches in place by then. And as I was doing this video and kind of putting it together, I was looking at the NAM because it's just now coming into range. And these helicity tracks coming in on Monday night are definitely pretty concerning, with that warm front continuing to lift northward. So we've got a lot of low-level winds that would support those rotating supercell thunderstorms, that would support winds changing at height with rotating, possibly tornadic activity by then. So I will definitely be live covering this event, no question about it. So definitely stay tuned to that. So we're going to break down all the details every day leading up to this event because it definitely appears to be pretty significant from Monday afternoon through Wednesday. Even on Wednesday afternoon, look where it's there, folks. It's not really going anywhere. So that's why this could lead to extensive flooding in some of these areas, even into Thursday. The low finally comes across portions of Texas there. And then, feeding out ahead of it, all the heavier rains likely are going to be over the southeast by then. So this could be an extended period, multi-day setup for severe storms across the south coming up. So, and if you look at the latest European guidance, look at that abundance amount of precipitation it's feeding out across Texas there into Louisiana into Arkansas. Some isolated reports are double digit, folks, right now. So definitely looks like a high impact event coming up on Monday through Wednesday. So I appreciate you guys watching. Do like this video, definitely hit the subscribe button and catch me next update where I protect you before and after the storm.